Good evening. We're going to go ahead and have the graduates take the stage while everyone hopefully is coming in. There's a bit of traffic out there, I've heard. So we'll go ahead and get started, however, so we can get going with our celebration. Welcome, graduates. Go ahead and have a seat. My name is Rhonda Durano. I'm the nursing program director here at Pierce College Puyallup. I'd like to take a moment just to welcome the 2017 program graduates, Pierce College faculty, staff, administration, alumni, family, friends. It all takes all of us to get these people up on the stage and through this program. So we're so pleased to have you here this afternoon. First, I'd like to introduce a few people here on stage that will be participating in our ceremony today. Professor Elizabeth Weber. You'll hear more about her later. Tiffany Smith-Fromm. Tiffany is in her second year of tenure with us here at the college, recently completed that second year. Vicki Dixon. Vicki has completed her first full-time year with us and is going to start a tenure track position this coming fall. We have Karen Winter, one of our adjunct faculty. Appreciate Karen being here. And finally on stage I have Leslie Watts, and I'll tell you more about Leslie as well, but she is at the Pierce College Scholarship Foundation and one of our nursing program advisors on our advisory board. Do we have any adjunct faculty in the audience? I know Professor Glenine Collins and Natalie LaChavia are here. If you want to give a wave. Thank you guys for coming. Anyone else that I missed? Also would like to acknowledge our administrative support, which is huge at this college, to get this program and an event like this to happen. So Bevan Horgan, our nursing program coordinator, is behind the curtain over there. Thank you, Bevan. And Stenia Kashjan is our dedicated nursing program advisor. She couldn't be here this evening, but she has truly touched each and every one of these students as they get through the application process and the admissions process. Ron May, our Dean of Health and Technology. And Marty Cavalluzzi, a president of Pierce College Puyallup. And again, I'll tell you more about him later. I'd also like to take a minute to acknowledge Jim Butler up there in the sound booth. He has been instrumental in getting this stage and everything ready for us for our events like this. Thank you, Jim. I know many of you attended the graduation ceremony yesterday at the Tacoma Dome, and that was a fabulous turnout for this cohort. That's the most students I think I have seen go to the graduation celebration, and they shined yesterday. It was a lot of fun. So you're probably wondering why you're here again today, crammed in another room to listen to more speeches. And I just hope that you will hear us out on what the nursing pinning ceremony is all about and understand why it's a little bit different than a regular graduation ceremony. The profession of nursing has a long-standing tradition to hold this type of ceremony to really mark the transition from a student nurse to a professional nurse. And Les is going to tell you a lot more about that later on in the program. This year is special to me because it marks my 25th year of walking across a similar stage 25 years ago at a community college in Eastern Washington. I walked across that stage with another graduate who at the time was my fiance and now my husband of 25 years. And so I'd like to acknowledge Giles Dorado. He is a nurse practitioner, commander in the U.S. Public Health Service. And 3 children, 4 degrees later, we're still working in nursing together, and that's been a lot of fun. His never-ending support and encouragement and belief in the good that we can do as nurses continues to be my source of energy and inspiration. I know that those of you here today are the support persons in the lives of these graduates. I hope you will find this afternoon to be a personal celebration of their achievements and invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the stories and sentiments shared. Today has been long awaited for these graduates, probably more so than any other cohort I can remember. This is my 7th pinning ceremony. The majority of the students here on stage were admitted at the end of 2014, but due to program and structure changes at the time, they didn't start their coursework in our program until September of 2015. I know they've had challenges because I've been around to witness those and experience them right alongside of them. So like any good nurse, I applied the nursing process to the situation to really analyze the problem. So my assessment: decreased sleep duration and quality, increased caffeine intake, maybe some other substances too, I don't know, episodes of crying and tears, limited social interaction, weight loss or gain in my case, ability to carry a 50-pound backpack of textbooks, the sudden urge to wear burgundy scrubs everywhere, unplanned or maybe planned pregnancies, I'm not sure. Staff changes, director changes ×2, faculty changes, not to mention the new Washington state laws related to nursing education this past year, and the computer crashes and fire alarms during testing. That had to be fun too. So my diagnosis that I came up with: the risk for ineffective nursing student coping related to demanding nursing education process, and some faculty-approved interventions: administer more caffeine, monitor for signs of stress and provide referrals, provide humor with every lecture, PowerPoints daily, open lab practice, intermittent group work, those relieving guest lectures, tests, and more tests, and finally, APA manuals, preceptorship placements to soothe the soul, and a kind Kaplan instructor. My evaluation of all of this is that everything will be fine. You will make Pierce proud, and you will all pass the NCLEX. So I've got a word for this group of students, and that is persistent. According to the National League for Nursing in 2014, nationwide, about 37% of qualified applicants were not accepted into a nursing program. There's a variety of factors with that. In 2014, our program was not able to accept 75% of those applicants. There's just a huge demand right now. So you're looking at the 25% selected for that year. This group persisted through the admission process, the delay to start their program, the program and curriculum itself, and the next requirements for RN licensure. I have no doubt they will continue to be successful in meeting their goals. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you don't notice already, you are looking at a very persistent group of people. So that's the end of my welcome and my information. There are a few seats available, so if you have an empty seat and there's a few people standing, we can get some up here. Go ahead and find a seat, because we won't make you sit too long today, but it might get long. It's my pleasure now to introduce our campus president, Dr. Marty Cavalusi. He's going to deliver a president's message, and our administration has been extremely busy this year. It is the college's 50th year celebration, so I think these guys have made more speeches and gone to more ceremonies, and I truly appreciate him being here today. and sharing a little bit with you. Thank you, Dr. Cavalucci.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Okay, so last year I stood up here and gave a little talk, and then when I walked away, I grabbed everything that was under my talk. Only to see Liz Weber come up minutes ago in total panic. Minutes later in total panic for a few minutes scrambling, where is it? And after a while I looked at my batch of stuff and thought, oh, here's her talk. So this year I can see she's clutching it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Hey, congratulations, graduates. I just want you to know that I'm personally very proud of all of you, and Pierce College is very proud of you. You've done a big thing. First, I want to just thank you for choosing the field of nursing, and I want to thank you for choosing Pierce College, enrolling in Pierce College, and making it through that entire gauntlet application period. You just heard 75% didn't make it through, so you're the best of the best. So you ought to be holding your heads high and thinking about that. And I also want you to... I want to thank you for just committing to the program and sticking to it all the way to the end, because it doesn't happen to everybody. It's a lot of work, right? So, and with that, I just want to thank you for completing your degrees. So I just want to share with all of you who are out here, I just want to talk about another part of nursing that I just want to remind you of, because you've been concentrating all the skills, right? You're just every day, study, do these skills, I'm going to figure this out, I'm going to get a job. But there's another side of nursing that I think just completes the puzzle, and that's the personal side of who you are and how you connect with patients. And I'm going to share a personal story that 16 months ago, my son, who was 12 at the time, was admitted to Seattle Children's Hospital. And what I saw in the room, when I look back from above and look, I see two parents who are shell-shocked, who have no clue what's going on. Our son was suddenly over-exercising and under-eating. By the time a doctor figured it out that he was suffering from obsessive-compulsive disorder and said, I'm admitting your son today, we sat in the room shocked, and a nurse came in and checked us in, and I just watched how loving she was and how she handled my son first and foremost the patient, and then how she handled us, the parents. And when in a moment after everything was settled, I couldn't help but kick in the administrator part of me and said, hey, which college did you graduate from? You know what she said? Pierce College. And that was a great thing. So thanks. But I just want to share that because my son was admitted for 22 days in the hospital. By the time he got in there, so he's 5'6", 110 pounds, heart rate of 25 beats per minute. You calculating all that right now? Right? So they said he would stay in the hospital until his heart rate hit 50 beats per minute. They eventually let him out at 48 because it just wasn't going to happen. But what I saw is sitting there as a parent, because I stayed there for 22 days with him, I saw the human side of what nurses do. Not just the skills, because they excel at that, but the human side of that is how they connect with every single patient. And because he had a heart condition, he was put in the cardiac section. And so he's in there with a lot of little babies. He was by far the oldest person in there. But I'm just going to share a few things, because I actually lived there. So late at night when I'd walk the halls, I saw a family come in, a family of 4. They had a new infant baby, underweight, born with a heart defect, so open heart surgery, and they can't pick the baby up, has to just sit there. And so late at night when everyone's gone, I see the nurses go in and actually talk to the baby saying, you're going to make this, you're going to do this, we're here for you. And they connect. Even when the parents aren't there, I see the way they connect. I see me laying there freezing one night because I had no blanket, and a nurse suddenly shows up and gives me a blanket. I see them connect with all the parents who are just sitting there shocked because their kids are in the hospital, and they just say, can I get you some lunch? Can I get you some food? Can I get you anything at all? You're allowed to live too, you know. And I just see how they care for every single kid who is in that hospital. And I want to share that with you because it's not just the skills. It's more than that. You know, there's doctors, and then there are real doctors. I happen to have a real doctor who calls me on a Saturday morning and says she was having coffee in her kitchen and was just thinking about me and wanted to check in. That's a doctor. I had real nurses who checked in constantly. And after 22 days, when my son is leaving, one of the nurses is with a patient, and she looks out the door and sees my son leaving. I hear her say, I'll be right back. And she explodes out the door, runs over to my son and hugs him and just starts tearing up and saying, you've done it. We're so proud of you. We're going to see you again, I hope, just out on a soccer field or somewhere. So I just want to share that because I want you to connect and think, even though you've got all the skills and everything you've got to survive, it's that other side of that. Does that make sense? And eventually you slow down and realize, okay, I can be me and show this personality and start caring more than just the skills part. So with that, I also want to thank you for all that, and I want to thank the people here that just make it all possible. Because you're going to go out and you're going to take the NCLEX, and this program here is by far the best one in the state. We have the best pass rates in the state for the NCLEX. So thank you. So with that, I'd like to thank our nursing program director, Rhonda Durano, for setting that vision. I'd like to thank our allied health manager for nursing advising admissions, Eustania Caston, our nursing program coordinator, Bebhin Corrigan, and of course our esteemed faculty, Liz Weber, Tiffany Smith, Vicki Dixon, Karen Winter, Glenine Collins, Natalie Losciavo, and their 7 other adjunct faculty in the program. I just want to thank them because I know from walking the halls with them, stopping in their offices, listening to them during meetings, they go way above and beyond. They take this stuff home with them. They lose sleep over these students. They worry. They constantly change what they're going to do to make sure they get what they can to be the best out there so they can go out and nail that NCLEX and pass the first time. It's just beyond what anyone would expect. So thank you all for that. Okay? So, with that, I just want to say, graduates, just hold your heads high. You really do come from the best program in the state. Do it. Go out there and nail that NCLEX. Become great nurses. And I kind of say this, I hope I actually never see you in the hospital because I don't want to get there. But if I do, I'm going to ask, are you from Pierce College? And then you know what kind of treatment I'll get. So thank you for that. Liz, you still have it.
Our notes are safe. Thank you, Dr. Cavalisi. So at this point, we are going to introduce a couple of students from the cohort that were elected by their peers to be the speakers today at our program. Daniel Moffett. Dan is transitioning from a prior career as a medical scribe, and I think he plans to work or would like to work in the emergency department, ultimate goal. And then Colette Liscantz. Colette came to our program with an already established career as a midwife. We get students that have got degrees in lots of other things, and they come back to get a nursing degree, and I always am amazed at that. And I think Colette plans to continue working with new moms in labor and delivery, hoping for a Madigan position at Madigan Army Medical Center. So I'm not sure who's talking first, but come on up.
Hello, everyone. All right. So my name is Dan Moffett, and I was voted most likely to be told to give a speech at graduation. Today we're celebrating a culmination of years of hard work and dedication. When we arrived here 2 years ago, we had already been through years of required courses and made it through a pretty rigorous selection process, which you heard about. So we were feeling pretty good. We were the elites. We thought we knew quite a bit. Looking back, turns out we pretty much didn't know anything. We had no idea what we were in for. And over the next 2 years, it was going to be a time of intense transformation, learning lesson upon lessons, sometimes having to learn the same lessons over again. We've learned which patient we're supposed to give the bowl of chili to. We've learned the potassium content of mashed potatoes versus baked potato. It's okay to eat bananas if you're on warfarin. We learned about the healing power of potlucks and partying in the parking lot. And we learned that once a year, Chipotle gives free burritos to nurses. I don't know if all you people knew that. So this is all worth it. We also learned some things that didn't have anything to do with food. I think I was hungry when I wrote this. But one of the trickiest things for me to learn personally was being one of 2 males in a class of 20-some nursing students. So it was me and Kyle. We had to stick together. That's right. So there have been many moments of triumph and laughter, and just as many or more moments where we were humbled. There have been tears, mostly from Kyle. But gradually, those lessons in humility gave way to confidence and competence. So today we stand before you as graduates. We made it, we're here. So we're full of the knowledge, skills, and abilities that we've learned over the past 2 years. And now that we have learned everything there is to know about nursing and medicine, we're going to close this chapter and enter the new chapter as real-life nurses. A wise person once told me, "Don't worry about it, you'll be fine." I'm not worried. It wasn't very reassuring at the time, but it turns out they were right. We made it, and we're all here. Suck it, Kyle.
Hi everyone, my name is Colette Lescance and I'm happy to be a member of this graduating class. It's really fun to kind of look out today, out in the lobby and out here and place all the faces with the names and the stories we've been hearing over the years. I know whose mom said, "You will not be a doctor, you're going to be a nurse." It's pretty funny. I know the single dads who raised a couple of these girls to be these strong women who are becoming nurses. It's really fun to have the support of all you throughout the last 2 years. I'm really proud of this group. We are pretty dynamic. That is a nice word of saying persistent and opinionated and hardworking and stubborn. And that's why we're here. As most of you know, nursing school is like a 2-year roller coaster ride. Maybe you've seen that bumper sticker that says, "Get in, sit down, and hang on." For this class, I think most of our faculty would have said, "Get in, sit down, and please quit asking questions and arguing points after tests." But here we are, you know, each one of us was called to nursing for our own reasons. We all have our own passion or reasons for coming to nursing. We've spent the last 2 years with these folks teaching us the science of nursing. But it's the art of nursing, the art of caring for another human being, much like the president talked about, on potentially the worst day of their life. You walk in that room and it's connecting with them and taking care of them in that moment that we've learned, and we've learned from each other. And I think about this group of folks, and I know how hard it was to get through this program, and I'm thinking, man, we have lots of moms in here. Kyle's got kids. And then I'm thinking, we have great diverse experience and skills in this class. We have EMTs, we have a former teacher, we have military vets, we have single moms, one of whom worked nights full-time in this program. We have a firefighter, we have nursing assistants, medical scribes, Dan. We have moms who have kids with special needs. We have a midwife, women who are embarking on their first career, and some on their second or third. We have military wives who had to cope with their husbands transferring to another state and deciding if they could stay in the program or do long-distance relationships. They had to cope with staying here. We witnessed each other having some pretty hard transitions as well. We've seen divorce, loss of a parent. We had 2 women, and now 3, Amy, carry babies, give birth, and then come back, and keep up with their class load. That's amazing. We have a classmate who lost her precious young son less than 2 months before starting this program. What a rich learning environment to learn the art of nursing. So you're looking at an impressive group of graduates, each of whom is going to be an amazing nurse, and I couldn't be any more proud of us. Thanks, you guys.
I always love to hear what the students have to say about us. So the students choose their student speakers as well as choosing an honorary speaker, and oftentimes that goes to one of the faculty members. So this year they have chosen Liz Weber, Professor Liz Weber, to deliver the honorary speaker address. Professor Weber has been with Pierce College since summer of 2012. She's been the primary medical surgical instructor for the past 4 graduating cohorts. And for those of you who don't know nursing lingo, med-surg is the bulk of what new graduates really need to know to pass NCLEX and survive on the job. She has a bachelor in animal sciences from WSU that she holds and treasures, which I think helps her with students. I don't know. And after that, as many do, she went back for her associate degree in nursing from Highline Community College and her master's in nursing from St. Joseph College in Maine. Professor Weber has extensive nursing experience in intensive care unit as a nurse, operating room, and working in the hyperbaric chamber. She was a hospital educator for critical care and in the cath lab for pre-licensure before she transitioned to become a pre-licensure nursing instructor. She does have a true heart and dedication to the education of our future nurses. So it is my honor to introduce Florence Nightingale's roommate herself, the one and only professor, tenured Professor Liz Weber, if she's ready.
You talk too fast.
I could have told more stories.
Hi, obviously I'm Professor Weber, and as I stand here, I feel like I should duck and cover because I think my name has been used in vain in many of your households, especially during testing time. So, you might be wondering why I'm wearing student scrubs. Kind of wondering it myself. Sounded funnier at home. Anyway, I will reveal the real reason when I finish my speech, and that will give you a little bit of enticement to actually stay awake to find out. So, I'm going to start my speech just as I do my lectures. No, not with death by PowerPoint, but providing a little outline for you to follow along, and if nothing else, then you'll know when I'm getting close to shutting up. So first, I'll begin with what it means to be a nurse. Then tell you a personal story regarding yesterday's graduation ceremony. Then some sage advice, reflect on your journey, explain the scrubs, and finish with a joke. Okay? All right. Why be a nurse? So a patient, I should probably put these on. A patient once asked me why anyone would want to be a nurse. He said that job requires dealing with non-compliant patients and broken families, and dissatisfied physicians, and a hell of a lot of dirty work. And I replied, well, that's the view from your side of the bed. But from my side, I see the possibility of something better. To teach a new skill, to heal a hurt, and to know the comfort of a compassionate touch without a prescription. Being a nurse is not about giving pills or charting. It's about being able to love people in their weakest moments. So think about it. Who else in your life is going to encourage you to pass gas? All right, so yesterday, I attended Pierce College's graduation, and as I watched each of the disciplines be called up onto the stage, I said a prayer of gratitude for our graduates. Because they could have chosen any career. There are so many options available to students today. Jobs that would make you more money, give you more prestige. But they chose nursing, and I'm so grateful they did, for all of us are better for their choice. I once saw a cartoon, it showed an angel talking to St. Peter at the pearly gates, and the caption read, "I'm sorry I'm late, but I had really great nurses." Okay, so a funny thing happened on the way to the graduation ceremony. Why I'm sharing this, I'll never know. So I was waiting in line with the other faculty to enter the Tacoma Dome in the procession, and suddenly nature called. And so I got out of line and I hurried over to the restroom, and I was wearing that giant graduation gown and has these enormous long sleeves, and so I was really careful. I gathered the gown about me and I held my sleeves up, and I dropped my slacks and I crouched as I hurriedly peed. Well, it all went well until I went to rearrange myself, and noticed that my underwear was completely wet. I mean like swimsuit wet, okay? And so in my hurry, I discovered that I peed through my underwear. It's a true story. So oh my God, my husband's rolling over. Okay, so I couldn't go back out like that, but I was just stuck there with my pants down and my underwear all wet, and so I threw my underwear out, and I pulled my pants up, and I hurried back out to the line with the other faculty, and yes, I sat through graduation commando. It was humiliating. But I'm packing today. I'm packing today. Good. All right, so there's a moral to my story. The moral is to slow down a little. It's kind of often the smallest details of a job which are the most important. Details can prolong a task or foil an otherwise straightforward dealing, like mine. So pay attention to the smallest details, because if you don't, you may just lose your shorts. I think I'm leaving. All right, so a little sage advice, okay? When Florence and I were in our second year of nursing school, our professor gave us a quiz, and I breezed through the questions until I read the last one. And it said, "What is the name of the woman who cleans the school?" Well, I thought, this is a joke. I've seen that cleaning woman several times, but I don't know her name. So I handed in my paper, leaving the last question blank. And before the class ended, one student asked if the last question would count toward our grade. And the professor said, well, absolutely. In your careers, you'll meet many people. All are significant. All deserve your attention and your care. And even if all you do is smile and say hello, I've never forgotten that lesson, and I ask you guys today to remember to do the same in your careers. By the way, later on I learned her name was Edith. All right. About your journey. As you place your scrubs on the burn pile, and remember the laughter and the tears that you shared while you're wearing them. And when you sell your books back for some drinking money, remember that your brain now possesses so much information, and it's grown because of all the brain cells you exercised every day. And as you leave out these doors for the one last time tonight, remember that you're a part of a very special place, a place that wants the very best for you. Well, that and my voice to haunt you the rest of your lives. All right, so why the nursing scrubs? As teachers, we strive to do our best by our students. And while you were all cramming for exams, I was up at midnight Googling things like clotting cascade for dummies, so I would know how to teach it. I wear these scrubs so I will never forget what it feels like to walk in your shoes. My job is to make myself progressively unnecessary, and that task was completed today. And through all the trials and all the tribulations that we've had together, you've made me a better teacher. You will see and do things in your careers that I could never have imagined in mine. I was once scolded by a physician for not getting a patient's x-rays up on the screen fast enough for him to view. Today, images are digitalized and sent electronically to be viewed on a computer screen miles away. The world is challenging and changing, so now you are the teachers. You have to continue our legacy. Teach those who come after you, for truly we are all here to serve one another. But before I leave you, I want to ask your forgiveness, and this is to my students. I'm sorry for the times that I sighed a bit too heavily when answering your question. I'm sorry I rolled my eyes when you gave an incorrect response. I'm sorry I called you out in front of your peers when I believed that others could learn from your mistakes. And I'm sorry I admonished you for a poor class average on an exam that you probably all studied your butt off for. The best teachers teach from the heart, not from a book. I hope I've done that, because truly, it's been a blessing to be your teacher. Okay, now for a joke. So an elderly man went to the doctor and had some tests done because he wasn't feeling well. And at his follow-up appointment, the doctor said, "Gosh, I'm sorry, the results came back and I'm afraid I have some bad news." He said, "You have cancer and you have Alzheimer's." And the man thought for a moment and then he said to the doctor, "Well, that's not so bad, at least I don't have cancer." Congratulations, class of 2017.
Thank you, Liz. And she really didn't want me to mention this, but will be her last pinning ceremony as a faculty member here at Pierce College, as her life has transitioned to the East Coast, and she will be dearly, dearly missed. She told me a story about when she went to visit one of the students at preceptorship, and there was a code going on. It was a student who was in an emergency room placement, a code going on, and when she walked into that room, there were 4 nurses in there, including our student. All 4 of those nurses were Pierce College graduates. They were all names that we knew, that we had taught together, and that was just so incredible for me to hear of what they're doing out there, and just appreciate all of your efforts in making those students into nurses. Thank you, Liz. We have a couple of, one's not listed, but I do want to make an announcement about a special award, and then Leslie's going to come up and do the scholarship presentation. Every year the program gets to choose an outstanding program student. And there was a ceremony on Wednesday night, one of many, where we acknowledged and gave Lainey her certificate, but I wanted to let everyone know that Lainey Goodlet was this year's Outstanding Nursing Program student. We don't necessarily look at GPA because everybody's got a really good GPA here, but we really look at those outstanding values and qualities and attributes that we want in our graduates, and Lainey has just demonstrated that over and over again during her time with us. So here to present our scholarship award from the Pierce College Foundation, I'm going to introduce Les Watts and tell you a little bit about her before she comes up. Leslie has served this college for a number of years. She has a Bachelor of Science in Nursing and a Master's of Education in Guidance and Counseling from PLU. She served as a college health nurse, a nursing advisor, mental health counselor, and has oriented new directors and faculty over the years. She's also a retired colonel in the U.S. In the Army Nurse Corps. She wanted a nursing program here at Pierce College for a long time and was instrumental in the creation of this program. And I think this is your 11th pinning ceremony that you've been and able to join us on the stage. Retired now, but I think busier than ever, as most retired people are. Currently, she's doing musical theater and has a lead role in the 9 to 5 musical and has a performance tonight. So we really appreciate her being here this afternoon. She's going to present the scholarship, tell a little bit more about that, as well as the history of the pinning ceremony. We'll move into that afterwards. Leslie Watts.
Thank you, Rhonda. It gives me great pleasure to be a representative of the Pierce College Foundation, which is the fundraising arm of the college. And one of the things, one of my duties as part of the foundation board is that I am the chair of the scholarship committee. We have many fundraising things. We had a huge fundraising gala that celebrated our 50th anniversary a couple months ago. And it is because of the generosity of the people who are graduates in our community that we are able to fund scholarships for our students. And so because of this, for the last couple of years, the foundation board has been able to award scholarship assistance for every single class member of this Pierce College nursing class to help out with their expenses this last spring quarter. So we are privileged to do that, and I wanted to have you acknowledge and know that that's where that all came from, because people don't know that on top of tuition and books, there's all the gas to get to your preceptorships, there's childcare, there's all of these extra expenses that people don't really know about, but I'm hoping help to relieve some of that financial stress. The other tradition that started is that over 10 years ago, when we started the nursing program, as Rhonda said, I was privileged enough to work with Dr. Joanne Mosseri, who was the first director of our nursing program and founder and putting together the whole program. Joanne is now in a leadership position down at a university down in Oregon, but there was a legacy a few years ago where a scholarship was established in Joanne's name, and every year this scholarship is then awarded to a member of the graduating class who plans to go on for their BSN. And so this year, on behalf of the foundation, I am happy and pleased to award the scholarship to Pamela Matson. Yes, that's you. So Pamela plans to go on for a bachelor's degree, and that's going to be at,
WGU or St. Martin's?
you say that,
WGU.
at WGU, which is Washington Governors
Yes.
University, yes. And it's an online program which will allow Pamela to be working and still working on her BSN as well. So this is your certificate for you. Oh my goodness, go ahead, open it, see what it is.
I'm all shaky now. $500 award sent directly to the university by the Pierce College Foundation for payment of tuition or other related costs. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, if you'll see on your agenda, on your program, we're moving right on to the history of the pinning ceremony. So a lot of you are probably wondering, after all, you just went to commencement yesterday at the Tacoma Dome, and now you got to stick around for another function. Well, what is all this about? Well, the pinning ceremony actually is an opportunity, as Rhonda said, to bring family and friends. And really, you guys, this is the last time you are all officially together, celebrating the achievement of finishing your nursing program. And I see out here a room full of people with happy tears in their eyes, supporting a loved one who has spent the last 2 years completely dedicated to earning a nursing degree. And this pinning ceremony is where newly graduated nursing students are presented with a special nursing pin from the faculty as they are welcomed officially into the nursing profession. The nursing pinning ceremony is all about honoring and celebrating nursing students and their journey to become a nurse. After all the past tests, exams, clinicals, preceptorships, it's finally here, your pinning ceremony. And people were wondering, so where did this even start? It actually, for you who have and enjoy a little history, goes back to the Crusades of the 12th century, when a group of knights tended to and cared for the injured and suffering crusaders. When new monks were brought into the Knights' Order, they decided to continue helping sick soldiers and held a ceremony where each monk was given a Maltese cross that they wore on their arm. Fast forward to the 1860s, when Florence Nightingale was honored with the Red Cross of St. George for her selfless efforts to injured men during the Crimean War. After starting the first formalized nursing school, and because she believed in acknowledging a job well done, she presented a Medal of Excellence to her hardest working nursing grads. By 1916, however, it became a standard in the United States to no longer just honor a few nurses with a Medal of Excellence, but instead all of the nursing grads with a pin during a special ceremony just for nursing students. The pin is designed to identify the School of Nursing that each student attended. It identifies you officially as a nurse and proof that you got educated. Our graduate nurses in the past used to wear the pin on your lab coats, and if you're in a clinical situation where you can wear it with your lab coat, or a lot of them just pin it right to their lanyard. But these days, as our nurses wear scrubs, there are a few people that even go to some of these embroidery shops and have our logo, the pin logo, embroidered on your scrubs, so you can still proudly show our pin logo. So that's up to you, hint, hint. And so, without further ado, with this rite of passage, I now turn this back over to Rhonda as we continue the official pinning of our nursing grads of 2017.
Thank you, Liz. So the faculty will be taking turns giving the pins to the students. So without further ado, come on up, faculty, full-time faculty. And then I will be reading their names as they come up on stage. They know where to stand for their photos, don't forget that. Elisha Begayan. Sydney Hanako White Brown. Deanna Burgess. Stephanie Carlson. Whitney Couture. Krista Delanty. Kyle Engel.
It takes a while to get a pin when it takes a while to get a pin.
George. We're doing the lanyards because we don't trust them with sharp objects. Amy Marie Gaucher. And baby. Lainey Goodlett. Kelsey Hamilton. Brandy Hinsman. April Azara. Colette Suzanne Liskins. Pamela Matson. Danielle Moffett. Tiffany Neal. Deanne O'Leary. Eileen Plaster. Geez Lady Nicole Pertellis. Annie Manglona Reyes. Rachel Robinson. Maria Salas. Sidel Shevlin Bennett. Gislaine Mendez Shin. Jessica Talariti. Olivia Tamburello. And Cassandra Abigail Watkins. Let's give these graduates one more big round of applause. Our next piece I'm going to let Les explain as well. We're going to be doing a candle lighting, which is also one of the traditional parts of a nursing ceremony. And right after the candles are lit, the students will be led in the nursing pledge, which is on the next page of your program, if you want to follow along while they're reading that. So go ahead, Les.
So as you see that the center of attention in our Kodak moment spot, it has a big lamp there. And no, this is not Aladdin's lamp. This is the lamp of knowledge. And it's the official symbol of the nursing profession and of higher education. The inspiration for the traditional symbol of the nursing profession, this lamp of knowledge, actually came from the lady with the lamp, who is Florence Nightingale, a title that she got back between 1820 and 1910, and was founder and considered founder of the nursing profession because her life was dedicated to all phases of nursing. And early in the Crimean War that I referred to before, the deplorable facilities for the care of the wounded were very, very evident. And under the direction of Florence Nightingale, a small staff of nurses went to Scutari near Istanbul in Turkey. And within a few months, the military hospital wards were clean and efficient. Florence Nightingale was known as the lady with the lamp because she made her rounds by the light of the lamp that she carried. Today, this now stands for the lamp of knowledge that as nurses, she started the nursing profession or started officially teaching nursing in schools. And that has now a legacy that's been passed down generation to generation to generation. And I want to insert here, I found this online from another pinning ceremony that was just last week at another university. And I loved it, and I want to share this. Today, our world needs healing and to be rekindled with love. Once Florence Nightingale lit her beacon of lamplight to confront the wounded. Her light has blazed a path of service across a century to us through her example and through the countless nurses and healers who have followed in her footsteps. Today, we celebrate the flame of Florence Nightingale's legacy. Let that same light be rekindled to burn brightly in our hearts. Let us take up our own lanterns of caring each other in our own ways to more brightly light our own paths of service to the world and to more clearly share our own noble purpose with each other. The candle lighting ceremony represents the learning process that all of you have gone through valiantly for the past few years. And in fact, I'm not sure, I quoted this last year too, it is in the Guinness World Book of Records that the curriculum in a nursing program is more arduous than engineering school. Documented. So right now, With our lamp of knowledge as the centerpiece, our director, Rhonda Durano, is going to go down and light her candle from the lamp of knowledge. She will then pass this on to the nursing faculty, who will then go over and pass it on to you as they have during the last 2 years.
All right, you ready? All right, I'm going to say the pledge. As a Pierce College nursing graduate, I solemnly swear to myself and fellow nurses that I will uphold the duty of the registered nurse to the best of my abilities. I will treat each patient that comes under my care with the same dignity, care, and compassion that is deserving to all, whether that means helping bring a life into this world or giving comfort as a life leaves this world. I will never show prejudice towards a patient, and I will always respect their culture, religion, and choices. I will always do what is in the best interest of my patient as a patient advocate, even if I do not agree with the medical decision. I will give comfort and care to both the patient and families in all stages of care. I will always strive to learn more so that when faced with a challenge, I can adapt and give the best care with confidence without delay. I will work in a professional manner and as a member of a healthcare team. When placed in a leadership position, I will grasp it with eagerness and set the best example for those around me. I will follow the law and code of ethics set before me, and above all else, I will remind myself every day why I became a nurse. I will strive to be the best nurse that I can be, always, and show leadership for others to emulate. All right, so you can be seated, turn your candles off. And now Pam and Kyla have a special presentation they're going to do.
Okay. Good. All right. Hello, family. So, what would nursing students be without their professors? Oh, can you hear me now? I have a soft voice. Okay. So, what would nursing students be without their professors? Students. So, we are here today to present some gifts. Some of them are still coming. I'll be here soon. But we also wanted to take a moment to honor each of you. And this is not turned very well. So Professor Smith-Fromm, your first day was our first day, and we've been through a lot with each other. PSF. Where am I? Sorry, I'm nervous. Okay. So you've taught us a lot.
The first thing, and this has gone over, this has been said a few times, we'll carry this forever, but you'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll always be fine. I'm not worried about you. I'm not worried about any of us, because we'll be fine. And then the second, and this has been mentioned earlier too, excellent sources of potassium. We love potassium.
You know them all now.
Yeah, the potatoes. Not a quarter of a sweet potato, but a whole baked potato.
You
I'm
trump
sure.
sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
So, Professor Dixon, we would like to thank you for your patience, even when we nearly gave you a stroke after a dosage calc test. I know you were a little worried about us that day. For going above and beyond in lab and repeating demonstrations that we asked for the 50th time. If you could show us one more time, because we're nervous for checkoffs. So just again, and then again after that. For always taking the extra time to hear our concerns and our proud moments during lab, during clinical, outside of the classroom. You've taught us with such patience and kindness, and we appreciate you dearly for that.
Okay. So Professor Weber, TPW, which is, it's funny. We would like to thank you for your patience, even when, that's the wrong line, oh my God. So first I'd like to say, all of us, because we heard this up until last week, you can't fail us now.
Not anymore.
I think, but you can't. If they're not in, okay, you still can. But I don't think you will.
You're all golden.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. So we want to just thank you for everything you've taught us, because it's been a long road for all of us. We got to keep you, and we finished this together, and we couldn't have done any of this without all of you. And you pushed us each week with lecture, with PowerPoints, with the exams, which you have all seen the tears, I'm sure we remember. And the history lessons, our wonderful history lessons with Florence Nightingale. You've heard a lot about Florence Nightingale tonight. We have lived Florence Nightingale for the last 2 years.
We know who Miller Abbott.
Yep. She's our lady, Florence. She's our lady. But we will forever cherish you. And it's going to be hard not to have you. It's going to be hard to have you across the country, even when we're out on our own journey. But one of the biggest lessons that we will take from you, and I know all of us can agree, is the Florence Nightingale quote. I attribute my success to this. I never gave or took any excuses. And we are not a group of excuse givers. We are doers. We are carers. We are nurses. So thank you.
Now, Director Durano. On our first day of lab, I remember as we sat nervous and excited in our seats, not knowing what to expect, you talked to us about prioritization and balance in our lives, and that this is what we would need to get to this day right here. That was our first valuable lesson from you. That first quarter, we knew you as Professor Durano, not Director Durano. But when the need came, you stepped up and took the position as director, and we are so thankful and grateful to you for doing that. For those of you sitting in the audience, just know, and you can ask them about it later, that you are our non-negotiable golf balls. Okay.
It's a big deal.
Okay. And these 4 individuals are not alone in making these graduate nurses that you see today. The following staff, our wonderful adjuncts, have contributed just as much to our success.
So I would like to read their names just to acknowledge them. Some are here today, some are not. Let's see. There's Kathy Elder, Christina Hansen, Maddie Brickle, Lindsay Nelson, Natalie Wilstravio, I apologize if I mess up a name, Karen Winter,
Glenine Collins, Denise Garcia, Jack Keith, Hani Yu, Eustania Kastian, and Bevan Horgan. Thank you.
Professor Winters, we will forever know what it sounds like when a woman is about to actively push. We'll never forget.
There is one more person that our cohort would like to thank for all of her hard work and dedication, and that's Kyla right here. Kyla was the president of our Rainier Nursing Club. She came back to campus after nights of class when the rest of us were studying, and she needed to do the same, to attend faculty meetings, to bring up concerns that we had and advocate for us. So thank you, Kyla. Our cohort has put together gifts for each of you that we would like to present to you personally afterwards. We have a display here, but we would like to make sure everyone can get in on thanking you and presenting them afterwards. So that's it. Thank you. Oh, yes.
Now
So
go get a job.
yes, go get a job.
Thank you, Pam and Kyla, much appreciated. Well, this really concludes the speakers, yay! We're going to switch a little bit up from the order in your program because the students have prepared a slideshow, and they would like to watch it too. And the way we're set up, we're going to bring a screen down up front. So I'm going to have the students go ahead and exit to the sides, just like we practice. When the slideshow, when the slideshow is done, the house lights will come on, and that will be the end of our program. You are more than welcome to please join us in the lobby for some refreshments and lots of picture taking, I'm sure. Thank you all so much for coming tonight and for celebrating these graduate successes. Thank you. We gotta move this.
Now you mix it.
I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming, but there's a voice inside my head saying you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels lost with no direction. My faith is shaken, but I gotta keep trying. Gotta keep my head held high. There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. It ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. The struggles I'm facing, the chances I'm taking, sometimes might knock me down, but no, I'm not breaking. I may not know it, but these are the moments that I'm gonna remember most. Yeah, just gotta keep going, and I gotta be strong. Just keep pushing on. door keeps slamming. Now you're feeling more and more frustrated, and you're getting all kind of impatient. Waiting, we live and we learn to take one step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly or falling in love. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen, and we find the reasons why. One step at a time. You believe and you doubt. You're confused and got it all figured out. Everything that you always wished for could be yours, should be yours, would be yours if they only knew. You wanna show the world, but no one knows your name yet. You wonder when and where and how you're gonna make it. You know you can if you get the chance. In your face, if the door keeps slamming. Now you're feeling more and more frustrated, and you're getting all kind of impatient. Waiting, we live and we learn to take one step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly or falling in love. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Supposed to happen, and we find the reasons why. One step at a time. When you can't wait any longer, you can't wait. But there's no end in time. When you need to find the strength, it's your faith that makes you stronger. The only way we get there is one step at a time. Take one step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly or falling in love. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen, and we find the reasons why. One step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly or falling in love. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen, and we find the reasons why. One step at a time.
I hope the days come easy and the moments pass slow, and each road leads you where you wanna go. And if you're faced with a choice and you have to choose, I hope you choose the one that means the most to you. And if one door opens to another door closed, I hope you keep on walking till you find the window. If it's cold outside, show the world the warmth of your smile. But more than anything, more than anything, my wish for you is that this life becomes all that you wanted to. Your dreams stay big, your worries stay small. You never need to carry more than you can hold. And while you're out there getting where you're getting to, I hope you know somebody loves you and wants the same things too. Yeah, this is my wish. I hope you never look back, but you never forget all the ones who love you in the place you left. I hope you always forgive and you never regret, and you help somebody every chance you get. Oh, you find God's grace in every mistake,